Adobe packs a lot of useful software in its Creative Cloud subscription. Since there are a lot of useful apps included, it's a good idea to become familiar as you can with all of them. But first, it's important to re-emphasize that production of all high-quality graphics largely depends on a decent understanding of bitmap and vector imagery along with the linking workflow, which is what we covered earlier. Becoming familiar with other applications for graphics depends on what the app is set out to do. Is it a bitmap or vector editing alternative, or a project application? And does it allow the easy importing and exporting of core bitmap and vector file formats? Most apps fall into the category of project applications, and most of them also claim to import bitmap and vector files in some way. Some applications support this better than others. Most of the useful project applications provide video and web authoring solutions or help with the workflow within those projects in some way. Adobe has quite a few offerings included in the Creative Suite, and you should be at least familiar with them. Let's take a look, starting with video. Adobe Premiere simply edits video for video projects. But it's important to realize that video content itself is just a series of bitmap images being shown in sequence combined with sound. And like bitmap imagery, video files can be very large and hard to work with, so compression for video is very common. You'll find that video has the largest variety of file formats featuring both lossy and lossless technologies. Actually, there are a lot of video applications on the market, Final Cut Pro and Avid being the most popular. But as usual, Adobe features its unique compatibility with PSD and AI files, which can be really useful. Which brings us to Adobe After Effects, which can be even more useful, because if you need extensive animation control or effects in combination with bitmap and vector imagery, then you're describing motion graphics, which is the strong suit of After Effects. Actually, After Effects has become somewhat of an industry standard when it comes to motion graphics. And like any good project application, upon rendering output, any included vector images are converted to high-res pixels, making crystal clear graphics in your video files. Adobe also has many helper applications for video, most notably Media Encoder, which handles all the final video compression output, supporting many formats. But let's not dwell on all the helper applications. Instead, let's look at Adobe's dismal offering for web projects. I say this because Adobe has really missed the mark with Adobe Dreamweaver, has fallen out of favor with Flash, and seems to still be struggling with its Adobe Muse offering. Also, that replacement for Flash, Adobe Animate, seems so bloated and out of step with other JavaScript packages in use today, I can't recommend using it. To bottom line it, Adobe has failed to leverage its dominance in desktop publishing, and web designers continue the outdated workflow of using Photoshop to lay out static pages, while front-end developers using amplified text editors barely touch Photoshop except to extract assets. This is not ideal, but unfortunately, it's standard practice. Sadly, because of its continued dominance in bitmap and vector images, the world still looks to Adobe when it comes to computer graphics software, and we seem destined to never stop paying for increasingly expensive software with never-ending prices. Seriously, let's take a look at how that works too.